Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, when they conducted the exit polls in West Virginia, it was found that 35% of the people there voting for Bernie Sanders plan to vote for Donald Trump in November, even if he were running against Bernie. At first I was like, well, that's West Virginia. What do you expect? But on further thought, it kind of confirms some of my suspicions about the so-called Bernie Sanders movement. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Bernie, and I like his ideas. I want taxes raised on the rich and on Wall Street. I want the minimum wage to be at least $15 an hour. I think that there shouldn't be any tuition charged at public universities, at state universities. I think Obamacare should be replaced with single-payer Medicare for all. But in my wanderings around the web, I have run into a significant amount of Sanders supporters who think that Donald Trump is a perfectly acceptable alternative to Bernie. These people are kind of like monkeys who have discovered two bright, shiny objects and think they're the same thing. They're not. Now, Bernie and Donald have both been labeled as the anti-establishment candidates, but the fact is that they are diametrically opposed to each other. The fact that some people think they're interchangeable shows that they really haven't been listening. Bernie really is the anti-establishment candidate whose ideas would benefit the poor and the middle class. Trump may have been labeled the anti-establishment candidate, but he is actually the establishment. He's the 1%. The idea that he will do anything that will benefit anybody but the rich is absurd. Trump has no coherent ideas of his own, but the people he has surrounded himself with are not advocates for economic justice. They are his cronies. I heard Susan Sarandon saying that if Bernie were not nominated, she would vote for Trump because that would bring on the revolution. That was probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard anybody say. First of all, you can't have a revolution here in the U.S. It's too big. Even if you took over Washington, D.C., that still leaves the rest of the country, and the military would just swoop in, massacre and arrest those who resisted, and restore the old government. And besides that, revolutions are chaotic and bloody, and the people who wind up in power are usually pretty much worse than the government that was overthrown. But mostly because we have a revolution built into the system. It's called elections. Rising up to overthrow the people that we elected is the ultimate act of stupidity. You elected your representatives. If you don't like them, then maybe you should take the gun and blow your own brains out because you're the reason that they're there. Thanks for listening.